Welcome, good people. Recently, we've noticed that a lot of Muslim families from the USA, Canada, UK, and other Western countries have been relocating to Muslim countries. Why is this happening and where are they going? In this video, we'll try to find that out.
For those who are seeing us for the first time, we are Nabeel and Zenesta, and we are a Muslim family based in Australia. And last year, we started an adult gap year with our toddler. Our goal is to travel, focus on creating freedom-based businesses, and potentially find a new home.
Our first destination for our adult gap year was Malaysia, and there we met a lot of amazing people, and one of them that really stuck with us was a Muslim family from the UK who was visiting Malaysia for 3 months to sort of check out the place, whether they can make that their home, because for them the UK was no longer aligned to their values.
And we thought that maybe that was a one-time occurrence, but very recently we found out many families who are actually relocating from all these Western countries and going to some other Muslim countries.
And all of these people are really successful in their own right. Some of them are actually born and brought up in those particular countries, such as the Saleh family from Canada. They've got over millions of followers on TikTok and YouTube.
Or like Saira Hayati, who is a Muslim female entrepreneur who moved from UK.
Or like the creators of the YouTube channel Our Journey to Success. So that begs the question, why are they moving? So we went through their channels, distilled it to 5 key reasons as to why they moved. So let's get into it.
The first reason is the spiritual preference.
For a lot of them, either they migrated to a Western country or their parents or grandparents migrated, right? But now that they've made a life out of themselves and they're really successful, they feel like they have the option to go back to a Muslim country of their choice and live a life which is more connected to their spirituality.
So it's not like, just because their parents moved to a country, that country is the last country that they're going to stay. It's almost like if their value system does not align, it's all right for them to move to a different country.
The second point was about the future of children. The education in the Western system, in their opinion, has been compromised to a point where it doesn't align to their values anymore.
It almost seems like they're saying that the Western society is running a trial and error with their children's future, and one of the biggest reasons for them to move away from these countries and find out another Muslim country to preserve their children's innocence.
Exactly, and these are a lot to do with the curriculum in nowadays, which is heavily focused on exposing very young children to the concepts of sexuality and gender options. Completely their choice as parents to choose the kind of education that they want for their kids.
Yeah, like personally we can relate to that because we have a 4-year-old daughter, and we do think about her future, and so it really
resonated with us.
Yeah, exactly. The third point is the rise of Islamophobia and racism.
Yeah, so we have lived in a Western country for over 15 years. We personally haven't faced any of them, and we'll have to be honest about this.
Yes, we haven't. We've lived in Australia for 15 years.
At least not directly, right? But I completely understand. We cannot deny the fact that these things do exist. And unfortunately, a lot of these Muslim families decided that they do not want to live like this anymore. And also, they didn't want their children to grow up in an environment like that. And I think the sad part is that they truly believe that this thing is not going to get any better over time. It's rather unfortunate, but our hope is, and we try to be optimistic, is that through a lot of education and awareness, these sort of things can get better over time.
Yeah.
The fourth point for them, which was quite strong in a lot of these Muslim families, was the matter of taxes. It's no surprise that, a lot of these Western countries have really high taxes. We've personally faced that in Australia. But, you do get things back in return, especially if you're living in a country where there's some, features of welfare state, such as healthcare, education.
Education, of course.
That wasn't really the issue for them, I think. Personally, what we felt is that where their tax money is being spent on.
Yes.
So the recent political events that's been happening over the past few months has led them to believe that they do not want to be a part of a country or a government that uses their tax money.
That doesn't align with their value system at all.
And also, it's a matter of humanity as well. So,
right. I can completely agree with that.
Yeah, and I think personally for us, having done such a drastic step of taking an adult gap year and leaving a Western country, especially being a migrant there, we completely relate to them because it's a bold decision, right? To pack up everything and move on. But the fact that they feel so strongly about it and it's taken a moral stand, we can completely respect that very bold decision.
the fifth point, and this is one of the points or one of the reasons why we are doing this adult gap year, is the cost of living. And I can completely agree with them, because the cost of living in all these Western countries are going through the roof. It's getting impossible to maintain your living standard. Like, we have done 9 months of full-time travel in Southeast Asia.
We're sort of spending 1/3 of what we used to spend in Australia, so I completely understand. The other thing also is the quality of life as well, right?
Correct.
Like in some of these Western countries, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, it can get really cold.
Yes.
So a lot of these people,
Weather-wise.
yeah, they want to live in places where you've got a lot more sunshine and great weather, good places to visit. At the end of the day, what matters is go where you get the best,
Correct.
bang for your buck and best quality of life. So we can completely relate to this point.
So now that we have discussed all the points as to what might be the reasons why all these families are moving out from all these Western countries, where are they going?
Oh, you have to understand, a lot of these people are actually quite successful in their own right, and they have got kids and they've got the future of their kids. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to move to a country where they can maintain that quality of life, or even get better at some point in time with more value for money. Here's the hard reality. There are over 50 Muslim countries in this world, but there are not a lot that you can actually consider moving to.
But there are quite a bit too.
Different people have considered different countries, right? But we have distilled it down to 4 that we felt personally that we could consider and they have considered as part of their journey.
Country number 1 is UAE.
The United Arab Emirates. This country is a great option and it ticks a lot of the boxes. No taxes, very safe, great economic opportunities, a great hub to travel from into Europe and other parts of the world, a vibrant international/expat community, lots of things to do. But there is one problem. What is it?
I think whenever I hear about, in particular, Dubai, say that it's good to go there, but it's
Very
pretty
expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been to Dubai. Nabeel hasn't been to Dubai. We do want to go to Dubai and check it out for ourselves, because it's one thing hearing from people or seeing in videos, and another thing going there and experiencing it. The concept through which we are doing this gap year of currency hacking would not work in Dubai, because essentially currency hacking means you take your higher power currency and you spend it in another country where the currency is a bit weaker, but you get same or similar living standards.
We'll definitely be checking out Dubai, so we'll let you know when we get there.
Okay, the second country in our list is Indonesia.
And we will be heading there pretty soon.
So we will definitely get a first-hand experience of how it is living in Indonesia.
Obviously, the most populated Muslim country in the world. It's got amazing natural beauty. You can go and visit a whole bunch of places there, lots of islands, lots of things to do. It is quite reasonable in terms of cost of living, and they've got one of the best food in the world, and the people are known to be pretty nice.
You can really explore different sides of Indonesia. So there's the beach side, there's city side, so there's lots of option for anyone of different interest.
But there is one problem for a lot of these people to consider Indonesia, is the fact that from an economic and infrastructure point of view, you still have some ways to go for Indonesia in terms of services, such as you still have a lot of load shedding there. Especially in Jakarta, you have issues with flooding. So Jakarta is sinking as well. Some parts of Indonesia, you've got issues with internet as well.
We're not letting this stop us from going there and experiencing it for ourselves.
Let's see what Indonesia has in store for us.
Okay, the third country in our list is Turkey.
Or as they say, Turkey. We haven't been there, but we will be going there in a few months' time, so we will let you know once we head there. About Turkey, right? It's got one of the best food in the world, lots of history, Muslim country, and it's got some amazing places to visit as well.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, if you think about Istanbul, it's the only country in the world, if I'm not mistaken, that's sort of broken into 2 continents, right?
Yes.
So you got the
bit of Europe, bit of Asia.
Exactly. But the only issue with Turkey for a long-term stay, for a lot of these people, were around the economic outlook, right? So Turkey has been going through some economic downturn, so they are a little bit worried about that. And then the other thing, obviously, with Turkey is if you actually go outside the metropolitan areas, the English proficiency becomes
So
a
language
little
could be a
barrier.
Honestly, I think Turkey can be a very good contender.
Absolutely. I mean, for us, we're going with an open mind because we've gone to many countries where English is not much of an issue for us. Like, even if we can't communicate with them directly, there are also other ways you can learn a few phrases. You can use Google Translate, so you can always get by. And because the value for money in Turkey is so good, and I think Turkey should definitely be considered as an option for a lot of people, whether Muslim or not, to move there.
Okay, Okay, the last and the final country is Malaysia.
We've been to Malaysia, and if you've seen some of our videos, we love Malaysia.
Yes.
It's one of the best countries we've ever been to.
Well, I would chip in and say that initially when we started a gap year, I was too hesitant to come to Malaysia because I wanted to go in some European country. But boy, I was so wrong. It was such an amazing transition us as a family.
Yeah.
And we just completely fell in love with Malaysia. We lived in Kuala Lumpur for 3 months and we experienced that city and also the other cities around in Malaysia, and we had an amazing time. Like still to date, we
miss Malaysia.
We miss Malaysia.
So, why do we love Malaysia and why do a lot of people consider Malaysia? It's quite developed, right? So if you're moving from Western country to Malaysia, the transition is so seamless. There is some of the best food in the world. They've got a great diversity of people, great diversity of nature. The systems and processes are good. It's one of the easiest countries to open a business. The people are very friendly.
Accommodating.
And accommodating. And Malaysia actually has a pretty good economic and stable outlook. So
that's the thing, and that's why all these families that popped up in our YouTube, they are all moving to Malaysia, whether it's Canada, UK, USA, Australia, they're all moving there, and they have found the value that we found at the beginning of our gap year. This is something also we consider when we finish our gap year, whenever that is, whether Malaysia can be one of the places where we can call it our new home.
We'll see what happens.
So there you have it, all the reasons why all these families from different Western countries are moving to a Muslim country.
Specifically Malaysia.
Correct.
So let's be honest. Does this mean that, living in a Western country is not worth it anymore? And the answer is absolutely not. They're definitely ahead in a lot of other indicators, right? Such as freedom of expression, democracy, the focus on merit, economic opportunities, as well as rule of law. But one thing that we can all agree on, right, is, and we ourselves have done it, is that whatever stage of your life you are in, there is no point in staying somewhere where it doesn't align to your values or makes you unhappy. You have to find a place where it speaks more to you and basically take action.
Because the thing is that if you are unhappy with your current situation, whatever the reasons might be, this unhappiness falls down to all other areas of your life.
Yeah.
Whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship, family, health, finance, career, business, it will most certainly definitely impact all these areas. And you should not sit with it. You must take some actions that is aligned with the values that resonate with you.
So speaking of taking action, we have created a free comprehensive guide that gives you an overview that if you ever wish to create a gap year and sort of get a taster of what it might feel like to live in another country, Muslim or otherwise, you can definitely have a look at it. We'll link it for you in the description.
If you like this video and if you think that Malaysia could be one of the countries where you might think about relocating, we've done a video a couple of months ago which I think you will like. It talks about why Malaysia is such an underrated country and why everyone is flocking there. I'll put a link over here so you can go and have a look.
I hope you enjoyed this video and found some value.
If you did, please subscribe to the channel and we'll see you in the next video.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.